A lot of people come here to Croatia from Western countries and Western mindsets, and they expect things to be as back home, and they compare a lot of things. One of the chapters in our book, Croatia, a Survival Kit for Foreigners, is entitled Comparison is the Thief of Joy. So if you try and compare everything to how things are back home, you're probably already starting on the wrong track. But here are my 5 things that I advise people to take into consideration when they move to Croatia. Number 1, do not expect things to happen immediately. This is a much slower paced life than you're used to back home. Number 2, learn the language. Even if you only learn a few words, hello, goodbye, it's appreciated by locals. But also, if you don't try and learn the language, you're going to miss out on so many nuances. I remember years ago when I lived in Japan, in Hiroshima, and I didn't speak any Japanese and I couldn't read anything. I was walking along totally blind down the street, and then one day I learned the simplest sort of foreign characters, and I was walking along and I was like, hotel room, oh, that's a hotel, I never knew. So just these small little things will make a little difference in your basic understanding, and people really do appreciate it if you can make a little bit of an effort. People speak really good English here, so you don't have to worry about that, but it definitely helps with your cultural understanding if you can learn a little bit of language. Number 3, very important, what works back home won't necessarily work in Croatia. Croatia is a very specific country, and I think it's probably true that if some concept worked in every country in the world and it came to Croatia, it wouldn't necessarily work here. So don't expect things just to work as they would back home. A friend of mine, Andrea Cholak, who's a very successful businessman here, in an interview with him, I asked him, are there any benefits to doing business in Croatia? And he said there is just one benefit to doing business in Croatia, and that is, if you can make the business work in Croatia, trust me, you can make it work anywhere. And apart from that, there are no benefits to doing business in Croatia. Number 4, complaining is a national sport in Croatia. People love to complain. They go to the cafe, they'll sit there for hours, they'll complain, they'll do nothing about it, and they'll feel great about complaining. If you really want to complain and get people to take your complaints seriously, please be creative. Please do something unique. The complaining comes here and it's just a natural part of life. But if you can make something really interesting and creative, then that would be quite welcome. And the 5th thing I would say, which is specific advice for people coming to Dalmatia, is do not try and change Dalmatia, the lifestyle there, but do expect Dalmatia to change you, because it will. And for a bonus, I'll give you one really top piece of advice if you're a beer drinker, which is avoid Žuja, which is the name for Ožujsko, which is the national beer here, most popular, and it really is not very good.